Hello guys, today in this video, we are going to help you to find out the best SSD for gaming in market. I made this list based on my personal opinion and I tried to list them based on their quality, durability, customer review and more. If you want to see their price and find out more information about them, you can check our links in the description below. Number 6. Kingston Fury Renegade. It would be easy to look at the Kingston Fury Renegade SSD as just another Phison E18 base drive with another stupid name, but that would mean missing out on one of the outright fastest PCIe 4.0 SSDs in the business. The Renegade certainly cranks out the numbers. It also runs cool, has excellent rated write endurance, and a long warranty. But all that good stuff comes at a painful price. Phison's PS5018E18 is an 8-channel controller knocked out on none other than TSMC's 12nm process. It's loaded with 5 CPU cores in total, 3 based on generic ARM Cortex-R5 IP and 2 cores with proprietary Phison designs. Phison claims the E18 can crank out 7.4 GB s read and 7 GB s write speeds, not to mention 1 million IOPS. We've previously seen the E18 classified as an nvme 1.4 chip, but Kingston claims nvme 2.0 support for the Fury Renegade. We believe Kingston is using the same Micron 176-layer 3D TLC chips as seen in the KC3000 sibling drive. All of which means you're looking at a thoroughly up-to-date drive. Obviously, the PCIe 5.0 standard is notionally upon us with the arrival of Intel's Alder Lake CPUs. But we're some way from PCIe 5.0 drives and platforms being mainstream and compatible drives being available in volume. In terms of the subjective computing experience, we doubt you'd be able to pick it from the rest of the high-performance PCIe Gen 4 crop. This means the broader package and pricing are key differentiators. We feel good about this drive's long-term reliability thanks to those cool running temps and epic write endurance rating. The value for money proposition is a lot less appealing. This is currently one of the most expensive PCIe Gen 4 drives out there right now, rolling in at $425 at the time of review. The Sabrent Rocket 4 Plus, WD Black SN850, and Samsung 980 Pro can all be had for considerably less money. Number 5. Crucial MX500. The Crucial MX500 is the only SATA drive left on our list of the best SSDs for gaming, but when the price delta between PCIe and SATA is so small, it's difficult to make an argument for the far slower technology. But, as there is a hard limit on the number of M.2 slots on your motherboard, there is still a place for SATA SSDs as secondary storage. And the Crucial MX500 is one of the best. With SATA's maximum theoretical bandwidth limit of 600 MB/s, it's nearly as quick as you'll get, and Crucial's drives have long been among the best value options available too. This is the most affordable 1TB SATA drive you can pick up and it makes a great second home for your Steam and Epic libraries. It will happily function as a boot drive on systems with no M.2 sockets, or at least no bootable M.2 sockets anyway. You will still be missing out on the zippy response of your operating system running on the SSD-specific nvme protocol, but if that's not an option anyway, this drive will see you right. Number 4. Samsung 970 EVO Plus. The Samsung 970 EVO Plus offers a slight bump in write performance over the 970 EVO, all for the same price. There was a time when you could pick up the non-Plus version for slightly less, but those drives seem to have disappeared now. If you can find a straight 970 EVO for less, then go for it, but they're a rarity. Both drives still use the same Samsung Phoenix controller, which means they can outperform this generation's competition in real-world usage. If you want peak PCIe 3.0 performance, the Samsung drives are hard to beat, but you have to pay for that little speed hike. Compared with the 512 GB AD-Link, the Samsung is quicker in real-world testing but costs another $20. The 970 EVO Plus can spit 3.5 GB/s of sequential read and 3.3 GB/s write speeds, making it a very good middle-of-the-pack SSD without costing an arm or a leg. The 1TB drive remains one of my favorite SSDs around because of its cost and performance. though you'll see plenty of the 500GB models on sale almost every other week. That's not a huge issue at this half terabyte level, but when the 1TB version comes in at close to $110, it does make the higher capacity 970 EVO drives a bit more of a difficult recommendation. The 500GB 970 EVO is still a great drive, smartly spec'd, well made, and with a more competitive price. Number 3. Seagate FireCuda 530. Seagate may have taken a while to get into the solid-state game, and especially the PCIe 4.0 market, but it has arrived with a bang with the FireCuda 530. With or without the heatsink, the latest Seagate drive is a stunner. Of course, the rated sequential read-write speeds are fantastic, but it's the endurance levels that really stand out compared to the competition. The 2TB drive we tested has an unprecedented 2550 TBW rating when it comes to endurance, which is something you won't see this side of an SSD made for Chia mining. The 2TB FireCuda 530's rated sequential read and write speed is 7,300–6,900 MB/s, and that's pushing the limits of a PCIe 4.0 x4 interface. For users looking at the other capacities, the 4TB drive has the same rating, while the smaller 1TB and 500GB drives are rated for 7,300–6,000 MB/s and 7,000–3,000 MB/s respectively. It combines brand new Micron 176-layer TLC NAND. The same memory Crucial is using to great effect with the new P5 Plus drives, with a Phison PS5018E18 controller. Micron claims that its 176L TLC NAND is the best in the industry, with a 30% smaller die size and a 35% improvement in read and write latency over its previous generation 96L NAND. Apart from the PC Mark 10 storage tests, the FireCuda 530 either matches or beats the big bois of the storage world, and when you add its leading sequential performance and endurance rating, the Seagate 530 is at least the equal of any consumer SSD on the market. And in terms of performance, the FireCuda 530 either matches or beats the big bois of the storage world, and when you add its leading sequential performance and endurance rating, the Seagate 530 is at least the equal of any consumer SSD on the market. So, how does it perform? If Seagate hopes to sell a drive that costs more than the established SN850 and 980 Pro, then it has to deliver, and it does. The latest Phison E18 drives typically excel at sequential read and write tasks, but tend to trail in random performance, and particularly random read tasks and IOPS, which is important for gaming performance. Apart from the PC Mark 10 storage tests, the FireCuda 530 either matches or beats the big bois of the storage world, and when you add its leading sequential performance and endurance rating, the Seagate 530 is at least the equal of any consumer SSD on the market. Number 2. Crucial P5 Plus. Crucial is one of the big names in affordable solid-state storage, but has been notably slow at getting us a new PCIe 4.0 SSD. It's been worth the wait, however, as the new P5 Plus is a fantastic entry-level Gen 4 SSD. It may not have the peak speeds of the WD or Sabrent competition, but it can make a big splash in terms of those all-important price-performance metrics. And, also importantly, it can easily outperform any PCIe 3.0 drive you can to mention, and for practically the same price. Even if you're not running a motherboard with a PCIe 4.0 interface, this will still work in an older PCIe 3.0 setup, and at the limits of that connection. Since the first Gen 4 SSD's launch, there has been a significant price premium as a barrier to entry, and with the P5 Plus that has come down a hell of a lot. Using parent company, Micron's latest NAND flash memory, and its own in-house controller, Crucial has been able to keep costs down and performance up. Overall, the Crucial P5 Plus is certainly attractively priced for a PCIe Gen 4 drive with quality TLC rather than cheap QLC flash memory, undercutting most if not all of the competition, and by a decent margin compared to the priciest drives like the WD Black. In that context, were we feeling particularly price sensitive, we'd probably suck up our minor concerns over operating temps and IOPS performance. In the rarefied air of PCIe 4.0 speeds, it's maybe a little lackluster in peak and random performance, but its rocking TLC memory, not QLC, is still pretty damned quick compared to older drives, and is fantastically affordable. Number 1. WD Black SN850. The Western Digital Black SN850 makes a fashionably late entrance to the PCIe 4.0 party. It can hit 7000 MB S reads and 5300 MB S writes in sequential transfers, which is well beyond most drives' capabilities. That's because it uses the latest PCIe 4.0 interface, which has double the theoretical bandwidth limit of other PCIe 3.0 drives. Performance ultimately defines any SSD. The WD SN850 really stands out from the crowd. The synthetic benchmarks, spearheaded by Atto and ASSSD, show that this is very much a second-generation PCIe 4.0 drive, with peak sequential read speeds knocking on 6750 MB S and 5920 MB S, respectively. Writes are lower than the Sabrent Rocket 4 Plus but still healthy, at either side of 5 GB S. The 4K write performance in ASSSD manages to flip this over, and the WD SN850 outpaces the Sabrent drive. If your motherboard doesn't have a bundled heatsink, then you may need to look at the $20 more expensive version of the drive. It uses the shipping container aesthetic of Western Digital's external drives, which, personally speaking, looks good, although whether you can spot it in your case is a different matter. If you can aim some active cooling at the drive, then that'll be even better. We didn't notice any throttling in testing, although it's something to be aware of. The Samsung 980 Pro, which had the edge for a few months, is left out in the cold, especially as it costs the same as the SN850, but loses out to the newer drive in every metric. Neither is a bad drive, obviously, but if we had to recommend a next-gen SSD right now, there's only one clear option, and that's the WD SN850. It's simply the best drive you can buy today.